more exhausts, juiced-up motors, pricey rims, young petrol heads. Boy racers sure know how to get up your nose, and this week the government said enough's enough. It's threatening the worst offenders with having their cars crushed. Now, we've all seen them on the road, so what are they all about? Well, what we do know is that they love to show off the cars, the burnouts and taunting the cops. Janet McIntyre with the boy racers in Christchurch.
Boy racing, yeah, heaps of shit burnouts, mate!
We can't stand them, we can't beat them, we can't ignore them.
I've got $12,000 worth of fines that are unpaid at the moment.
And you don't care if you get any more?
Oh, no, I couldn't give a shit, you know.
There'd be a lot of people out there who just want to hit you.
Most people do. Most people, I wouldn't blame them.
What's going on inside their heads? Is there anything?
Why do you do this?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Here's a clue.
Is that part of the fun, knowing the cops are after you?
Yeah, definitely. That's the main point. Everyone does it is because they know that the police are going to turn up.
They're basically cowards, a criminal element that are cowards. You know, they won't face us one-to-one.
Sergeant Nigel Armstrong has confronted the boy racers head-on. He knows better than anyone what police are up against, and in Christchurch there's a growing criminal component.
The element that we're dealing with are carrying weapons in their vehicles. We're more often than not finding weapons, whether it's baseball bats, swords, knives, but yes, they are carrying weapons.
As the sun goes down over the Southern Alps, Christchurch, the city of gardens, becomes the city of hoons. The 4 avenues enclosing the city centre become a racing circuit. It's a game, a sport, a dangerous obsession. Kids, fast cars and alcohol. Even the police say it's out of control.
I think there's an element out there that have decided that that's what they want to do, and they're not going to live by our laws.
So who's in charge of all of this?
Me.
By day, Nick Shanks is an 18-year-old student doing management papers, a father of 1. He pours hours of time and buckets of cash into his '79 Ford Escort panel van. By night, though, he runs a network of hundreds of boy racers via text.
Everyone receives it. It can get sent out 4 hours before the first meet, and you can get decent meet between 600-700 people easily. And I go through over 8,000 texts a month.
We're in a car park filled with 80 thundering engines, a pre-arranged meeting. After 15 minutes, cell phones are beeping, the word is out, cops are on the way.
That's it?
Yeah, we've got to roll.
Why's that?
We've got to turn out. We've been here too long.
Everybody's starting to get aggravated.
And it's getting out of control. We've got to go.
So, yeah, that's it.
The car park empties in seconds. As we'll later learn, they're heading for a night of mayhem in the hills. It's a ritual. The city circuit is where they warm up, round and round the avenues. This Saturday night in March, 700 cars, bumper to bumper, infuriating other motorists, residents and the police.
Hands behind your back. I'll show you my word. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
But even during this special operation, reinforcements called in to target the racers, police admit they're well and truly outnumbered.
So you've got about 600-700 cars out there, and the cops have got about 20, 25 cars. You know, what chance have you got?
Doesn't sound good odds. We know we haven't got the numbers, but we just try and police a little bit smarter, which hopefully works in our favour. Yeah, that group towards the Beeley end of Harper's launched a couple of bottles.
But this is just the curtain raiser. The real action will take place in the small hours of the morning after a text directs the pack to some isolated meeting point outside town.
So you expect the cops to turn up?
Yeah, but it's normally part of the plan where the destination's designed, wherever we stop it's designed so everyone has a way out. Basically make it difficult for the police to try to catch us.
Do you know if they're coming?
Most of the time, most of our police scanners, or there's lookouts, people see cops on the way, and then there's people who we know in the police force as well.
January 29 this year.
As I came around the corner, I was met by approximately 100 vehicles and about 300 people.
Sergeant Nigel Armstrong was alone in his patrol car on the outskirts of Christchurch, a long way from backup.
I was ambushed. That was it. It was a pure ambush aimed. A criminal element within the crowd had made a decision to ambush the first police patrol coming around the corner. You could tell by the crowd, the mentality was that they were aggressive, more aggressive than what we normally face. At that point, I heard the distinctive sound of an air rifle being fired and 3 strikes against about head height in my driver's window, which shattered the window. If I was stationary, I was going to be more of a target. So I just drove through the crowd and the cars, managing to dodge most of those. And at that stage, from about 2 metres away, I was under attack by a number of bottles. I would say in excess of 40 to 50 bottles were thrown. It was a controlled, aggressive attack on the police. It was for no other purpose than to attack the police.
Coming up, nailing the races. The hunter.
How determined are you to catch your target?
I'm very determined.
And his prey.
You're putting your own lives at risk, let alone everybody else's.
But you don't think about that when you're doing it. Normally the last thing on my mind.
Do you hunt boy racers?
On occasions I do.
Do you think of them as prey?
They're certainly my targets on certain occasions, and I'll do my best to catch them.
And how determined are you to catch your target?
Very.
He likes the night shift. That's when the boy races are running. In an unmarked car, on an isolated road, Constable Kerry Gray usually works alone. He's got nerve and patience.
Do you like waiting?
You know, I like doing it because I know that there's a chance I'm going to catch somebody. That's a slim chance sometimes. But it's just one of the tools that we have, you know. Semi-rural, you can hear it for kilometres away. You can hear squealing tyres, you can hear noisy mufflers, you can even hear yelling and carrying on, bottles being smashed. You can hear that.
It's cooking oil! It's cooking oil!
There's action going down at a crossroads north of town. It's almost midnight, one Friday in April. A boy racer is splashing oil on the road to spark a skidding frenzy. The racers are filming as Kerry Gray arrives at the scene alone.
Is it? Yeah.
It's a very dark crossroad. So you couldn't really see the actual numbers of people there were there, so you sort of go in a little bit blind. But once I drove in there, you could tell that there was more than just a few cars there.
Constable Gray catches this young man pouring something onto the road.
So you didn't know what it was?
Oh, I'm saying, like, it could be diesel or something, but I don't know what exactly it is.
Basically, I was just on the piss and showed up at the skids and a bunch of cars there and had the oil and just started pouring it on the road and I had my hood up and didn't realise there was a cop there and he just pulled up and seen me doing it, eh?
The hunter gets his target.
So I was just like, oh, shit.
20-year-old Hamish Harvey, unemployed, is charged with disorderly behaviour.
Do you think at all about the hazard that it creates for other motorists?
No, not really. Just go out to the skids, pour it on the road, shit happens.
It's no care and no responsibility even according to the self-proclaimed ringleader, Nick Shanks.
That's obviously a hazard for other vehicles.
Not really. What would you think? It's more. No, well, no. On a straight bit of road, if someone's driving normally, you're not going to skid on diesel.
But you're talking about an intersection here.
Yeah. If it was an intersection, yeah, it can get dangerous. Yeah. But if it's on a straight bit of road, yeah, it's less of a hazard.
Pull the car over. Got your registration.
And there's obvious danger too for cops like Kerry Gray and his colleagues.
And the other one looks like a hollow tube of hell.
Walking into volatile situations with no near backup.
I'm actually out there trying to do something, as opposed to maybe just sitting on my hands and saying it's someone else's problem.
After his shift, Kerry goes home to a newborn son.
Who drives one of these?
Daddy.
A 3-year-old daughter
When I'm walking
and his wife Kim.
I remember the road code. It's quite nerve-wracking.
Drive the police car?
Yeah. You do have sleepless nights, especially when you know he's supposed to finish at 4 or 6 in the morning and it's getting an hour or two past that and he's still not home. I wake and start to worry and thinking, what's happened?
On another night, this time in the Port Hills above Christchurch, more spilled oil meets burning rubber.
Keep your foot on the accelerator and try to get it on the brake at the same time. So you heel toe it, heel on the brake, toes on the accelerator.
What does that do to the car?
Wrecks the hell out of it.
Sure does. This car blew out both of its back tyres.
But that's music to your ears.
Yeah. Beethoven the symphony.
You're putting your own lives at risk, let alone everybody else's.
But you don't think about that when you're doing it. Definitely don't think about that. It's not this way the last thing on your mind. Normally the last thing on my mind.
And what are the consequences?
Are you aware of the damage that was done that night?
No, I'm not. Not at all.
The road was all ripped up.
Was it?
The council is called in the next morning to start repairs that will end up costing ratepayers $25,000.
Really? Shit.
I mean, why isn't it you who's going back to fix up that road?
I wouldn't have a clue. I'm not the one doing burnouts. But they do. People do pay to fix these roads. It's why taxes are for. It's why we pay so much for rego, is to get these roads fixed.
Do you think you're entitled?
No, definitely not. What we do is illegal, and it's illegal for a reason.
But that's not going to stop them. There were 1,500 tickets written to boy races in Christchurch last year. That's 10 times more than in Auckland.
4 months after shots were fired at Sergeant Nigel Armstrong, the offender still at large, the government is now calling for extreme measures. Hitting the boy racers where they think it will hurt them, crushing their prized cars.
If they want to take on the police or take on members of the public with their aggressive actions, then I've got no issues with their cars being taken off them, sold, crushed. You know, I'd be quite happy to push the button.
But is that really going to work?
Most people have money owing on their cars or have it in someone else's name. They're going to struggle. I would be surprised if this law even goes through. The government is suggesting it, but through the hire purchase laws, contract law and ownership, they're going to struggle to even be able to crush, half a dozen cars a year.
What do you think society's saying about you to even suggest your cars should be crushed?
I think everyone here knows that society dislike us or hate us and they want us gone, but ideally we're citizens of Christchurch and we help in the running of it.
And running they are. Despite the threats of new legislation, Christchurch's boy races this week still out in force.
You seem like you have half a brain. You could do something with your life.
Oh, definitely. I finished 7th form. I've got university certificates. I'm still training. Like, I could go I could do anything I wanted.
But not if you get into serious trouble with the law.
Yeah, no, that's the point.
Would you say you're sorry for the inconvenience, irritation and danger you cause to the public?
I would eventually, not at the moment. Not while I'm still in the process.